welcome back to the Zag Talk Podcast. We've got a really exciting interview today with someone who I think everyone in Spokane, all Zag fans would agree, is a favorite guy of ours. And we really could not have been more blessed to have him on the show. We break some news here in the first few minutes, so keep a close ear out. It's pretty exciting. Without further ado, let's jump right into it.
All right, Larry, welcome to the show. Happy to have you here, and excited to be talking to you today about your time at Northwestern State. Those games that you all played up in Spokane this year against our Zags, and yeah, excited to jump into it. Thanks again for jumping on.
No problem. Thanks for having me.
Awesome. Well, to get started, why don't you give us an update? What are you up to, and how is the rest of the season for you guys?
Right now, I'm in study hall, still doing some work, some schoolwork, making up some work from when my dad passed away. But other than that, school's been okay, and my team, we trying to figure out what we're gonna do for next year.
For sure. Yeah, we saw that. We've been paying attention to what you've said on Twitter and everything, and just want to send our condolences from us and from the Zag community. Really, really sorry about your father, and you're in our thoughts and our prayers. The whole Gonzaga community is with you, so just know that.
I really appreciate it.
Yeah. So I guess my next question, Larry, is: do you want to break some news here? Are you going to be coming back for your 3 year of eligibility here?
I will be.
Love it.
I will be.
That's great. That's great to hear. Well, look, I hope that we can get you back on the schedule and back up in Spokane. I mean, that's extremely exciting. Are we the first people to know, or was there already an official announcement? Or
no official announcement. You're the first people to know.
Let's go. Breaking news on the podcast. That's huge.
Wow. Awesome, Larry. Thank you for providing us with that tidbit of privileged information. Super excited to see you coming back and playing college basketball next year. That's fantastic, man. So I've got a few questions just around growing up and everything, and your high school experience and things like that. So how did you originally get into basketball, and did you play any other sports growing up too?
I played multiple sports. You'll be surprised about basketball because I didn't like basketball at first. Like, growing up, I was big on football, playing football as a kid. So I played football. I used to like soccer too as well, but I wasn't good at soccer. I just liked it anyways. I did baseball. I did first base and pitcher, and I did track in high school. I went to regionals back-to-back years.
Wow. That's impressive. That's incredible. Well, and on top of all that, I mean, you were the 7th ranked player in the state of Louisiana for your class. Is that right?
No, I was at 5.
Oh.
5, okay. My apologies.
Top five.
My research was a little off there. Either way, I mean, you had an incredible career. I mean, you averaged 21 points a game. Your junior and senior year, it looked like. Correct me if I'm wrong on any of this stuff here, Larry. You were 3-time All-State, 3-time All-State for Louisiana. That's fantastic. Tell us about your recruiting process and what ultimately made you commit to Northwestern State.
Really, my recruiting process was kind of difficult. I tell people this story all the time. I personally, like I said, I didn't know anything about basketball. I was just playing the sports. And like I tell my teammates, like, they'll be surprised because I had so many schools recruiting me. And I was just like, what I'm supposed to do is new to me. I ain't expect none of this. And like I tell my teammates this. I could have been on a team that y'all played, but they won national championship. Baylor recruited me.
Wow.
But like I said, I didn't know nothing about sport. I never watched basketball. I didn't know any schools. I was just like, I just picked a school basically closer to my home, and that's how I ended up coming to Northwestern because it was closer to my home. I was like, if I was more into it and I would have known the schools and about the schools, then I was like, damn, I could have been on like another school team, a better school team. Not saying that Northwestern isn't a good school, but I'm just saying like, dang, it's crazy. Like I tell my teammates that they just look at me crazy.
Yeah, you could have been beating up on us in the national championship game, man. But do you regret your decision at all? I mean, it must have been nice to be able to stay close to home and everything.
No, I don't regret my decision. It's just like there's just always gonna be a funny story that I always talk about. Like growing up, like telling my kids, and then they can tell their kids like that. All could be just fun stories.
Well, that's great. That's actually a really wholesome story. I love that. You got to play with a whole bunch of awesome players during your AAU career as well. Guys like Cedric Russell, Josh Anderson, Galen Alexander, guys that played at schools like LSU, Western Kentucky. Have you stayed in touch with those guys much?
I still talk to Cedric Russell. I talk to him every now and then. Like I follow all of them on social media, but I talk to him like every now and then. Cause he the one he posts a lot. And then like if I see like Josh LeBlanc or any of those, like we'll all get back together and stuff like that. But we don't talk as much.
Did you when you came up to Gonzaga, you kind of let's talk about the doubleheader. What's it like to prepare to play a team like Gonzaga? What was your guys' conversations as a team from your coach going into those Gonzaga games?
As a team, our coach was like, this is gonna be a pretty tough game, but you just gotta go out there and play. They put their shoes and clothes on the same way you do. So I mean, they might and our coach had we the better team than anybody. That's probably for any coach. But our coach is like, just because they got a big name doesn't mean they can't be beat. It takes a smaller team to beat the best team. And in my head, I was just like, yeah, that's true, but a smaller team always beat the best team because sometimes a smaller team is more disciplined and plays together. Like at first, like our team didn't really play together. Then the second game we played more together because, like I said, when me and Drew played the first game, Drew was like, "Why they don't pass you the ball as much?" And I was like, "I don't know." So I carried that along to my teammates. Then the next game, that's when everything started kind of change. So we started trying to play together. And as you can see, after we played them, they carried on. The next game, we played Washington.
Yeah, you had a near double-double in the Washington State game. That's a pretty cool experience as well. And I think you kind of – I almost feel like when I was looking back at, the second half of your season, it seemed like that Gonzaga game almost gave you a little bit of a light for the rest of the season. I felt like you really had quite a good string of games even going into your guys' tournament. Did you feel like you gained some confidence coming out of those Gonzaga games, playing as well as you did against a team like Gonzaga?
Most definitely. I look back on it, I was just like, after playing it, like it helped me build more confidence. Cause at first I was just like, let's get through the games, go out there, play hard. But I played hard. I didn't play as hard as I played after we played Gonzaga. And I was just like, I got just as much talent as those players does, and I was trying to prove that every time after that.
Yeah. You got kind of Twitter famous in the Gonzaga circles. Is that something you picked up on right away? Did you see kind of everybody loving your reaction to Drew Timmy's stash and your guys' interactions between games and you using or borrowing his interaction afterwards? Is that something you picked up on right away?
At first I didn't. It took my teammates because I wasn't doing too much of like the social media stuff. So once like my teammates were like, you need to check your you need to check your Twitter because they sharing everything they talk about you. So I get on Twitter and I look and like literally, I had no followers, and then now I got like 800 and some followers straight out of Spokane, just like that.
What have those interactions been like, throughout the rest of the season and, up until today? Do you still interact a bit with the Spokane community, and what have you thought about, what they've said to you on social media?
It's been good. It's been good reactions. Like I say, I never did expect any of that to happen. I just looked at like, oh, we played a big old school. I didn't like when my team, like before we even had seen that y'all was on the schedule, it was like, dang, we got Gonzaga. I was like, who is Gonzaga? Like they were just like, you don't know who they is? I'm like, no. And then they were like, man, that's a big school that we're gonna have to play. I was like, for real? So I was like, man, I gotta show that I can play. And then I was kind of nervous and stuff like that the first game, even though I didn't show it. So I was kind of nervous. And then I was like, second, I was like, oh, it's not bad. So when the second game came, I was like, oh yeah, I'm more prepared, know what to do. So it was amazing experience. And then like, of course, the reactions and stuff, like, man, like I was like, dang, like this is really how it is out there up in Washington. Like that's what I need to be. Like I used to tell my team, I was like, man, I can leave, y'all can go out there. And everybody like, well, he ain't going nowhere. We just be laughing and joking about it.
That's awesome. What was it like going up against Timmy, guarding him, trying to score against him? And what was kind of your initial reaction the first time he did the stash celebration?
Well, for us playing him, like me, I kind of like when I first played him, like I was like, dang, he do a lot of the like his game and my game was kind of similar. It's just like the difference between me and him, he gets the ball more. He's quicker. I mean, of course he's quick. I'm way heavier and bigger than him, but it's like it was good though. I mean, it's a good experience. I feel like because like I was like, oh, I get to play. It's like a mirror playing myself. Cause like all the moves that he does, I do those same moves. It's just like I didn't expect him to come out like, but he's more patient than me. I'm not that patient. He's very patient. I say footwork better than mine too as well. I mean, I got to get my game back right, but I mean, I say footwork's better than mine. It was a big experience for me.
Do you feel like you took some stuff away? Any tricks that you took away from something that he did on the court that you feel like, oh, I'm going to use that. I'm putting that in my bag in the future?
Actually, you know how he does the drive step to the middle, up and down, the back to the rim? Mm-hmm. I got that. Yeah, I got that from, as you can see, I did that move when we played Washington.
Yeah? Next night, you took it out there and did the same thing?
Night, I did the same thing. I got it. I actually got the video.
That's awesome. What was, did you know he did the stash celebration and was kind of, because, I mean, Drew's kind of a character, right? Like, he's got the mustache, he's got the look, he's kind of cocky guy, he's got that celebration. Did you know that going in, or was it like, he scored and did the stash celebration, and you're like, oh shit, I kind of like that?
Actually, I did not know until the second game, actually. It happened in the second game. I didn't know he did it until the second game because, like, I saw him do it. I think he do it after every dunk or N1. So he did it, he dunked or whatever. And once he did it, I was like, what's that little thing you be doing? And he was like, oh, the stash? That's just something I just be doing. I'm like, okay, I'm going to take that from you. And then that's basically how it all started. So right after that play, I had got the ball. I had scored. And he fouled me, and that's when it all happened.
So it was just like a reaction. You're like, if you're going to do it, I'm going to do it type thing?
Yeah, it was a big reaction.
I love that. What are some of your fondest memories from your time at Northwestern State so far? And on top of that, what are your plans for next year?
My fondest moments is the band. I'm not going to lie. I love the band. It's like every time we played at home, our band, like they had their own personal chant, and they just be chanting out my name. They be chanting Larry, and like I feed off that energy from the band. Like all respects to the energy band. Like they were just out of nowhere.
Yeah, that's awesome. I definitely feel like Gonzaga has a bit of that. It's a bummer you guys had to play in an empty arena because the experience of playing home or away team being in Gonzaga Stadium when it's full, 2,500 students, shouting your name is something pretty crazy. So
yeah, I mean, they're like I feed off like the crowd, the energy. I feed off of it. Like if it's a good atmosphere, the energy good, it's like it's just another part of me just come like, oh yeah, it's time to come out and compete. So like I feed off. It's always been like that, even throughout high school. Like the band used to follow. I used to tell our band director, I said, hey, y'all need to be at the game. I don't care what you say, bring the band. Shit, bring the band. Like I'm like, if you want me to perform, I gotta have the band. I gotta have a big atmosphere. So that's just me. I like playing in a big atmosphere.
Yeah, that's awesome. Now that you guys are, you've told us you're coming back next season, you're coming back for your 5th year. What are your hopes for next season? I know we were looking at it. It looked like Abilene Christian, Stephen F. Austin, Sam Houston State. Those are all teams that are leaving your guys' conference for the WAC. That really leaves just Nichols State from last season, ahead of you, that finished ahead of you in the regular season. Are you guys headed to the NCAA tournament? You guys hunting for that? Do you guys feel like you're really going to take over your guys' conference next season?
We personally don't look at it that way because, like, last year we looked at it that way. Last year, not gonna lie, we did look at it like that last year because, like, SFA was a team that we used to go head to head with. Like, one year they'll beat us, swag us, then next year we'll come swag them, then they come swag us. It's just like a big old competition between us and them. And I feel like that was the only team so far that we was always having difficulties with, always like SFA. But then once we found out SFA couldn't go to the tournament, so we was just like, who the team to be? And we didn't expect Nichols to be that team. We didn't expect Nichols to be that team. But we always looked at Nichols like, oh yeah, we're gonna beat them, because we were used to playing them, beating them. But like I said, it always, even though we all thought we was the better team against Nichols, like we say, they organized, they play together, like they knew what they was doing. I give them that. So they utilized that all of the things they needed to do when they played us all 3 times. I mean, but like we said, we gonna get back at them, but we just gotta rebuild because I mean, some of our teammates, moving on with their life. Some might want to come back, some might not. So we just rebuilding right now. So
yeah, that's awesome. Thinking about, maybe not next steps since you're, coming back for another year, but, farther on down the road, are we going to get you to come up to Spokane? You ever, maybe after your career's over at Northwest State, you move up to Spokane and become the unofficial mayor of Spokane?
Hey, that wouldn't be nothing but a big dream right there. I will come out there. I would. I told because I have friends, and me and my friends, like, we like to travel and do stuff. And I was like, man, you know what? I'm like, man, let's go to Washington. I'm like, let's go to Washington. They're like, let's go. Like, we be planning to do a lot of stuff. We go a lot of different places just to see different things, like, So.
I feel that. I don't know if you know anything about the Hoop Fest tournament that's hosted in Spokane every year. Obviously didn't happen last year. Is that something you've heard of though?
Yeah, I heard of it this year. Like when they was talking about like what is the Hoop Fest, and they were like invite Larry to the Hoop Fest. So I'm like, I'm looking forward to it.
You got to come out. I think they just bumped it this year back to September. But if it doesn't work this year, maybe we'll have you out next summer, out to Spokane. You can come play in Hoop Fest. We'll get you on a team.
Oh yeah, I'll come play. There was a joke about me and Timmy playing on the same team.
Hell yeah, I love that. We'll make it happen. We're gonna make it happen. Timmy's probably got to figure out what he's doing in the interim, because he still hasn't made any official commitment to coming back to Gonzaga or going to the NBA or whatever his next steps are. But once he gets that figured out, we'll make Hoop Fest work.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I reached out to him after the NCAA game. It was a tough loss.
Yeah,
but I mean, I still reach out to him because I know that would have been something he would have done for me. So,
do you guys have a chance to talk since then?
No, we haven't.
He's pretty quiet on the social media front. You don't see too much from him.
Yeah, we were snapping for a while that's why I hit him up on Snapchat, because that's we normally communicate from Snapchat.
Got you.
So.
Nice. All right, well, that's all the questions we got. But again, thanks so much for hopping on and chatting with us. Really, truly appreciate you taking the time to chat with us for a while.
Sure, no problem. Anytime.
All right, thanks, man. Hey, good luck with last season. Thanks again for sharing all the information with us on you coming back, and we wish you guys the best of luck next year, and hopefully we can get you up to Spokane soon.
Oh yeah, appreciate it.